Hey everyone, and welcome to the Good Space, your favorite safe, comfortable, warm space. Today's episode is a bit heavy. We're discussing mental health and grief. This is a topic I know that will resonate, affect, impact so many people, but I felt it was definitely a important topic to cover. I hope the conversation that I have with my guest today resonates with you. I hope you can relate, and I hope it helps you in any way it can. I hope you take away some practical tips. I hope you feel safe enough to sit in your feelings after the discussion as well. Okay, so let's discuss. Hey everyone! So today I'm joined by my good friend Ronnie. Wait for the clap. Oh, wait for the clap.
I'm gonna clap for
Why
me.
is the clap?
Oh, is it supposed
No,
to be
that's the wrong way.
clapping?
It's meant to be clapping. Let's do that again. Okay, we're joined Ronnie. And today, although we love to laugh, shits and giggles and blah blah blah, it is a serious topic. We are discussing mental health.
Leo.
The thing is, I'm gonna leave this all in there because it's live. Anyway,
Oh,
we
okay. Just let
are
it out.
discussing. No, I'm not. I'm gonna leave it. Everyone should laugh.
Oh,
Um, discussing mental health and grief. Grief is defined as intense sorrow, especially caused by someone's death. So I think intense sorrow is a pretty good definition, but I want to know what your
hmm
definition of grief is.
um, hell. It's yeah. I would agree with the intense sorrow. It's extremely intense. Something that you can never prepare for. Especially with what I'm going through at the moment. Yeah, it's something that I agree with the intense sorrow 100%. It's not even something that words can even describe. Yeah,
Mhm.
I agree.
Yeah. And I feel like you just said what you're going through at the moment. Did you just want to touch on that a bit, on if you feel comfortable to, like what
Yeah,
that is?
yeah, 100%. Yeah, so I lost my nan to cancer last year September, so it's been just over a year now. Um, Anyone who knows me, me and Leo have known each other for a very long time. Since was like 11. We're old now, but anyone who knows me
Everyone's
knows
old.
that my nan, my nan was such an important person to me. Loved her so much. And I never ever thought that or could prepare for the day that she wasn't going to be here. Like we all know that all have our time to go home, to return home to the Lord, and it's like although you know it's going to happen, you never ever could picture your life without this person. As silly as it sounds, I've even I could never imagine what my life would be like without my nan. And obviously with having cancer, it wasn't something that my family could really prepare for, or my nan never had a chance to go through chemo, radiotherapy, or any sort of treatment, because unfortunately when they found it, it had spread to her whole body. So it was already terminal when we had found out, and she was diagnosed in June 2022, and then she passed away in September 2022. So, and then from knowing what my nan was like, I'm Caribbean, so I feel like it's anyone's grandma really, no matter where you're
Mhm.
from, loving, very proud, put together lady. Um, we wasn't my nan's Jamaican, but we wasn't ever allowed to speak patois. She's very highly educated lady, and she'd say water, you say water, stuff like that. Like, my nan was just so lovely. Everybody loved her. She was a mum and a nan to everyone. Just so amazing, such an amazing person. And to see if anyone's gone through anything like dementia or Alzheimer's or cancer, stroke, any sickness like that, where you can slowly see the person losing who the person you knew, it's not easy. And I've never been through anything like that before. My great grandmother passed away of cancer, but I was really young, so I don't remember. But yeah, having that, and you think, because I thought when we found out that my nan was terminal, that I said, "Oh,
Mhm.
I've never had a chance to prepare for someone's death." There was no
Mhm.
prognosis, so we didn't know how long she had left. Um, yeah, I thought, oh, not that it would be easy, but you could sort of, instead of someone dying suddenly, because which is what I'm
Mhm.
used to, things that
Mhm.
family members and friends that I've lost, it was a sudden thing.
Mhm.
Whereas this time, I knew it was coming, and I
Mhm.
thought I was prepared until my nan took her last breath, and life after that, to this past year, has been completely different for me. Could never
Mhm.
imagine, couldn't prepare myself for it at all. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing all of that. Um, you
Yeah.
mentioned you lost your great grandma when you were younger,
Mhm.
and that just sort of
Yeah.
leads me into the way we deal with grief as we age. Because I think it's very
Okay.
interesting that when you're younger, I don't know if it's because we don't quite understand or if it's because we haven't spent as much time with that person, we haven't built our own relationship outside of the fact that, oh, this is my grandma, this is my grandpa, because that is just, they just say
Mhm.
so. It's not, oh my God, this is my grandma,
Yeah.
but she's actually this really lovely person. Do you know what I mean? You don't build that personal relationship with, yeah. So I don't know, do you think that maybe is what sort of impacts you more when you're older than when you lose someone when you're younger?
I would say my first bereavement that I dealt with remembering and knowing the person was my granddad, which is my dad's dad. He was 8 when I
Mm-hmm.
passed, when he was 8 when I was 8 when he passed away. And I had a really close relationship with my granddad.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I loved my granddad so much.
Mm-hmm.
And I missed him. I did.
Yeah.
It was a sad time. I remember it. I remember
Mm-hmm.
preparing my family preparing for his funeral and stuff like that. And that was tough. It was hard, but again, I was 8. So I would cry, I would be upset, and he died of a stroke. So again, he was in hospital, and obviously I saw him deteriorating also. But yeah, it was different. Like obviously, of course, like I said, I was sad. It was sad. I'll go to school, I'd be upset, I would cry. I took a couple of days off of school. I would go to his graveside and stuff like that. And even now, I'm going to be 28, and it's still very emotional. But again, I
Yeah.
kind of just moved on because I'm 8. I'm an 8 year old.
Mm-hmm.
After that, Leo, you would remember this. My auntie
Mm-hmm.
passed away.
Yeah.
This was my dad's oldest sister, and I think we were like year 8, year 9. I think it was year
So
9
13.
when my aunt passed away. Yeah, I think about 13, 14, and
Mhm.
that was tough. She went in for an operation. I think it was a kidney transplant, and it failed, and she just got ill, and slowly just sort of gave up, sort of a thing. And
Mhm.
that was hard. That's when I really, really started to understand what grief meant. Again, because I
Yeah.
was really close to my auntie, and I have a really close knit family on both sides. Um, and that's when I found it. I sort of started to understand how much pain death causes.
Yeah.
Because obviously I was a little bit older, even though it wasn't. You don't seem like it's much difference in age, but you have a bit of more of an understanding. Like you said, you spend more time with that person, and you sort of start building like adult relationships. If that makes sense.
Mhm.
Like from
No,
transitioning
definitely.
from a child and being a little, child, and then do you know what I mean? You start building adult type relationships with this person,
Yep.
and they teach you
Mhm.
things and stuff like that. Um, yeah, that was tough, and I've experienced death in between, but where I am now with someone who was like a piece of my heart, basically, um,
Yeah.
it's devastating. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, like, how would you? Can you discuss your recent grief? So, the process, like, you know how I think sometimes they talk about the stages of grief. Do you think you went for the
Mhm.
traditional stages of grief? Was yours a bit different, or how was it for you?
Um, I kind of feel with the classic stages of grief, it's correct, But I kind of feel like when you
Mhm.
listen to it or you read about it, because I read about it, when you read about it, it makes it seem like there's a time frame you're supposed to be in that motion for, or
Yes.
sort of what I'm looking for, an order, like it goes in that order. At the moment, a year, just over a year on, um, I'm sort of feeling the heartbreak, I'm still feel like I'm at the angry stage also, because I just kind of feel like, why now? Um, I don't. It could have been. I say that why now, but it could have been 20 years later. I still would have felt the same way. But it's kind of
Yeah.
like, why now? Why her? Like, yeah, it's just I'm really, really angry with it at the moment. And sometimes I sort of also go from being angry to sort of feeling like, do you know what? My nan came to do what she's put on this earth to do, and it was her time to rest. I also think that because she achieved quite a lot and touched quite a lot of people during her time here. But yeah, I still feel like I'm very angry and very heartbroken. I don't think I'll ever get over the heartbreak and the ache and the heartache. My heart aches to know that small little things, I could be rolling dumpling, and which is something that my nan taught me how to cook,
Yeah.
and I'll forget how to do something, and I'd be like, oh damn, I can't even call nan to say, how would you fix this? It's just small things like that. um
Yeah.
you're like, oh, then that, oh god, nan's not here to, oh, nan's not here, sort of a thing.
Mhm.
So yeah, I feel like I'm a year later, I'm still very much in the angry stage of
Still in the angry state.
the
Yeah.
cycle. Yeah, I think so.
Mhm. Okay, so you're still in the angry stage, but do you feel like there is anything that has helped you move through the stages?
I would say my biggest thing would be the support from my friends and my family. Um,
Mm.
yeah, I've received immense support, and even for me, I say, all right, Ron, like, you can't be like this. Meaning, when I'm going through things, anything, but so far this year, this is the thing that's triggered off my depression and my anxiety. Just the fact that I'm grieving, I go missing. I have to shut
Mm.
down. There's days where I go quiet. There's days where I won't leave my house. There's days where I don't want to talk to anyone. And my friends and my family get that. Like, even down to yourself. If I've gone a little bit quiet, you'd be like, are you okay? I noticed you gone
Mm.
quiet. I'm praying for you, sis. Like, little things like that. Even if you don't even, you send me a message without even needing me to respond, I could
Mm-mm.
react to it on WhatsApp. And
Yeah,
that just makes it feel like, oh my gosh, my friends and my family are thinking of me. Like, my family members will call ever so often to speak to my mom and ask how we're doing. My uncle, which is my mom's little brother, he comes here all the time. And
yeah,
we'll sit and we'll talk and we'll laugh and we'll joke, and just having that support. And obviously, I'm quite fortunate enough. My parents are not together anymore, but both sides of my family know each other. Um, and they all knew my nan, and my nan all knew them, and even they will check in and say, "Oh, how's your mom? How are you guys?" And stuff. It's just them little things. Um,
yeah,
thinking of you, those little small things. Oh, you and our other friends will be like, "Come on, come round to mine. We'll bake a cake. We'll make some food. We'll do some painting." Like, even I'm like, oh guys, I'm so depressed. Oh, I don't want to. You'll be like, no, come on, let's go. Or you would
yeah,
turn up to my house and be like, yeah, I just come to see you. I'm here. Let's go
yeah.
to Bagel King. It's just small things like that. I think that's what's helped me get through the really down days. Yeah, just the relationship, the good support system. I have a brilliant support system, and thank you for being a part of that.
Stop. I'll get emotional. But yeah, I feel like it's really, really, really important to have a good support system, and you do,
Yeah,
and like just to
100%.
sort of expand on what you said with your family, like you have such a close knit family on both sides, and I feel like
Yeah.
as a friend, it helps me to know that you have that. I'm like, I know she's good.
Mhm.
Yes, she's gone silent.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm gonna check in, but I know she's got that strong family unit. And it's not like solo grieving, it's collective. You're all grieving
Yes.
together, you're all leaning on each other, which I think it's important and it's fortunate to have as well.
Yeah. 100%.
Is there anything you're doing like on your own? Is there anything that you've maybe, I don't know, yeah, anything you've sort of discovered that makes you feel better? Anything that you could share with anyone as like a practical tip that has helped you? Obviously, support system most important, but is there anything else
Yeah,
that
that's
you
number
could
one.
share?
I've
Yeah.
taken back up the gym, so going to exercise and stuff like that. Finding things you enjoy. That literally could be anything, any sort of hobby that you enjoy. Um, and I would also say this is a big one. Some people might disagree, but this is a big one for me. I allow myself to sit in my bad days, but I
Oh
give
yeah,
myself time of that so don't let it consume you, but
yeah,
sit in those bad days. So when there's days where I want to cry, or there's days where I'm angry and I want to sit at home and I don't want to do anything but sit in a dark room or watch reality traffic, whatever that looks like, I
yeah,
allow myself to sit in that. And I notice when I allow myself to do that, I feel better for doing it. I
yeah,
always come out feeling like, all right, cool, I can shake that off now. Let's push
yeah,
it and move on. Um,
yeah.
I think obviously a part of the grieving journey also is denial. Um,
Mm,
and that's what I try not to do, be in denial. So I know how I'm feeling. If I feel like I need to just shut off for a day, 2 days, a week, then that's what I'm going to do. But
yeah,
again, I feel like because the support system, it helps me get out of that. I have my niece and nephew that's here, my sister that's here that I'm like this with. Um, and they don't allow me to be upset. Do you know what I mean? My nephew
yeah.
hates to see me cry. He's only 5, but he hates to see me cry. And he
Mm,
knows immediately when he sees me crying, he will say, "Oh, Auntie, do you miss Nana?" And he'll be like, "Oh, I miss Nana too." And I got a massive picture of my nan in the living room, and I would
mhm,
sometimes I just go and I would look at it and be like, "Do you know what?" I have a little conversation in my head. And also for me, again, this might not be for everybody. I know some people find this very difficult. I go to my nan's grave all the time.
yeah,
Um, on her birthday, I still wrote her a card and put it there because that's what I felt like I needed to do. I wrote down all my feelings and stuff, how I miss her, kind of like if she was here, sort of a thing,
yeah,
like a letter to
yeah,
heaven. That's what I would have.
yeah,
I still do that. My nan loves flowers, so I still go and spend 30, 40, £50 on flowers, even though they're going to be outside. I don't care. Go
mhm,
and dress up her gravesite and stuff like that. That makes me feel better. Although when I'm there, my emotions shut off, so I don't feel to cry or anything when I'm there, but it makes me feel better that I do go. And
mhm.
another thing that I had done for myself also is I've done bereavement counselling. Um,
Good.
I noticed that for me, the bad days were getting out of hand.
Yeah.
I felt bad more than I felt good. And I know that's
Mhm,
not me as a person. So the
mhm,
bereavement counselling helped a lot. Um, I could cry, I could laugh, I could talk about how things I done with my nan or things I missed about doing with her and stuff like that. And it was only like 8 weeks, but it helped me quite a lot. It just
yeah,
allowed me to be free and just spend an hour just talk about whatever I wanted to. Some days I had good days where I laugh and I'll be fine, and others I will have days where I will be crying my eyes out for the whole hour. Um,
mhm,
but yeah, if I would definitely say if you feel like you need to seek help, 100% seek help. Don't make nobody else talk you out of doing therapy because they don't agree with it. If you feel like that's what you want to do, go ahead. I yeah, absolutely. I encourage bereavement counseling 100%. And you can do that at any time. It could be just after, it could be during, it could the person's transition, anytime, a year, 2 years, whenever. And you can do it more than once. So don't ever feel like you shouldn't do it. I 100% feel like you should do bereavement counselling. Yeah, definitely.
Put my stamp of approval on that. Big advocate for all sorts of counselling. Thank you that you shared that as practical advice. Um,
Yes.
okay, I was going to ask, how would you advise family and friends to show up? But I feel you've touched on that. Um,
Yeah.
but maybe I'll still ask, but
Hmm.
maybe on in the lens that if the person is not so much like you, or maybe like at your different stages. So let's say the stage where you are sort of in denial, how would you ask, how would you want your friends and family to show up when you're in denial? How would you want your friends and family to show up in the anger stage? You don't have to go through all the stages, but you know, those significant stages where it might be hard as a friend to know, damn, what do I say? What do I do? How can I help? Do you have any advice on the other side?
As I said before, I kind of think just how are you, or how you doing today, or thinking of you today, popping up, organizing something that you know you're for. Like, I like to eat, child. Yeah, my friends know that I like to eat, my friends and family. So let's go to brunch. Let's come to mine and cook. Um, it doesn't even have to even be anything related around the grief that they're going through. Just do things that they
Yeah.
like to do. Or I'm gonna take go shisha, or just I'm a quality time babe, so I don't mind whatever. Um, and
Yeah.
yeah, and if the person who's grieving um doesn't want to respond in that moment, then also don't take it personal. It's easier said than done. But I would say don't take it personal and don't give up on the person. 'Cause it's quite hard to be
Yeah.
like, oh, they didn't respond, so maybe I should just leave them alone. I would say be persistent, meaning like, you might say something on a Wednesday and then maybe they don't respond. Maybe 2 weeks later, just be like, oh, I hope you're okay, and whatever. Still be persistent with that person because it's tough. And
Mhm.
everybody, like I said, everybody's different. Everybody deals with things differently. Even though I might feel like I might disappear, I will still respond to my people. Do you know what I mean? But not, I understand not everybody's like that.
Yeah.
But don't give up on that person. Just be persistent and keep showing up for them. And trust me, they'll appreciate it when they've moved through the stage they need to move through. I
Yeah.
would say, yeah.
Thank you. I think that's really, really good practical advice.
I got two things to touch on actually. Um, the first thing
Okay,
was about
cool.
you actually.
Go for it.
I remember we had a conversation about a month ago, and
Mm.
I was saying to let me go back. Let me go back. So I'm in university. I'm a diagnostic radiography student, and I lost my nan just before starting my first semester. So my nan died on 24th of September. I started on the 26th of September, and I made a promise to her that I would finish, because I was going to leave because I knew that she was dying. And she told me not to. She said to me, I'll be gone, but you're still living. So I want you to do what you would do as if I was here still. I'll be watching you." And that's when I sort of the last conversation I had with my nan before she started to lose her cognitive. Um, when she was still her normal self and in her normal personality. That was one of the last conversations I had with her. She said to me, "I don't care how long it takes you. It could take you 10 years. I want you to finish." So I said, "Okay." And no surprise, I failed a couple of my modules that I had to retake this year. And it was tough. I was beating myself up a lot. And as you know, I was upset and so forth. Um, so I've got a dental nursing diploma already, and I've done extremely well. I've done well in school. Me failing is not an option for me. I put a lot of pressure on myself. But so that was really tough. And I knew if my nan was still here, I wouldn't be in this position. But you said to me a few weeks ago that, and I said to you, I'll never be the same person again, and I don't know how to feel about that. And you said to me, um, you don't need to be the person you once were. Just love the person you are now and grow from that. And that's really stuck with me. I always think about that on the days where I'm like, oh, God, like I just want to be normal. whatever that means. I want my old self back. I miss my
Mm.
old self. And I just remember you said it's okay, like it's okay not to be your old self anymore. Fall in love with the person who you are and grow, keep that person growing. Like you don't have to be, don't mourn that person anymore. And yeah, that really stuck with me. So that's one of the things that I kind of use to keep me going on days where I'm feeling really crap. um, which is not too often now. I'm sort of getting better, and trying to shift my focus on things that are important, like getting through uni and stuff like that, because I know that's what she would want me to do. And obviously, you as well recommended the for me to watch Human Resources last year, and I wasn't ready for it. And I decided I'm gonna give it another go now that I'm in better headspace, and I would recommend anyone going through grief, when you're ready, to watch that episode. I think it's season one, episode 8 or 9, and it's called "It's Almost Over."
Season two, no?
Eh?
Isn't it season two?
I think it's season one. I'm sure it's
Mm.
season one. It's called "It's Almost Over." It's like near the ending of season one, though. Yeah, it's
Oh,
called "It's
okay.
Almost Over." It's about a guy and his mom. His mom's got dementia and she's starting to transition. And if you've watched Human Resources before, it's kind of like your thoughts and your thought processes out as characters. And
Hmm.
she's got a love bug and she's got a logic rock. And the love bug and the logic rock and the anxiety mosquito, um, love bug and the logic rock, the love bug takes her back to all of her memories, to when she was younger, back in Italy, I think she's from. And it just shows her when her falling in love and stuff like that, giving her all her lovely memories. And her logic rock tries to think logically on how to keep her alive for longer. And then obviously her anxiety mosquito comes because he's anxious because she's dying, he doesn't know how to handle it. And then Keith the grief, and they've got the grief down as a jumper, as a fluffy, literally a fuzzy fluffy jumper. And he comes for the son, her son, and basically says it's time to let her go now. And the logic rock and the love bug is battling so hard to try to unravel the jumper, try to destroy him, try to throw him out, and he just can't. He grows really big, and he takes over them all, and he goes to the son, just put me on and hug me. And I cried my eyes out in that episode because literally my whole thought process and how I feel inside, I just watched it being played out in front of me. Even though the lady died of another disease, it was such a similar thing, just watching her just slowly deteriorate, and her memories got smaller and smaller as she remembered less. And they tried
Mm.
so hard to hold on to her, and they couldn't. And I don't know if grief being played as a jumper, and it sort of put him on and carried him around for a little bit. But at the same
Mm.
time, the grief was trying to comfort him. I don't know. It was just such a touching episode. Like I would even go back to watch it again. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I just love to see how the journey plays out, because when you're in this situation that I'm in now, the whole grieving process, you feel like you're by yourself. Like sometimes I
Mm.
feel, am I mad? Like I'm like, Ronnie, get over yourself. Like, come on now, it's been over a year. Get yourself together. And my mum said to me, you shouldn't think like that. Everyone's grief journey is different, and
Yeah.
don't rush. You could grieve for 10 years. It literally doesn't matter. And she's right. I don't think that I will never not grieve when my nan not being here, and that's okay.
Mm.
Due to my bereavement counselling, it's fine. You don't have to get yourself together. You can cry every day if you want to cry every day at some point. That's absolutely fine. Um, yeah, it's tough, but just don't put pressure on yourself, I would say. I think that's where I made a mistake. I put a lot of pressure on myself, and it's not fair. It makes
Mm.
things more difficult because there's no time frame. I don't have to get over myself. It's fine the way I feel, and it's completely normal. And that episode made me realize that grief is like this for everyone. I'm not silly for feeling like this a year later. it's absolutely fine. But I absolutely love that episode. So I highly, highly recommend Human Resources on Netflix. It is amazing. It's called It's Almost Over. It's amazing. And it's okay to cry at it, because I cry at it. And
It's
I
okay.
think I'll cry each and every time. It's okay to cry.
So honestly, oh, wow. Ronnie, thank you so much. I feel like that was just such an open conversation. I know for a fact there is going to be multiple people who understand where you're coming from, needed to hear that, can take that practical advice on, can maybe compare it to their situation, or maybe there's someone like myself whose friend is grieving and you're like, I don't know how to show up for them. I think you've given so
Yeah.
many like pointers from different parts of the journey as well, through different
Mhm.
lenses. So I'm so grateful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, that
It was
was so
it was
good.
a pleasure.
Um, what?
I said it was a pleasure.
Oh, pleasure. Oh, my pleasure. Your pleasure.
Yeah, pleasure.
Yeah. I think it's really well run as well, though. I just think, like, as you said, it's a journey, and like as you said, like grief doesn't go anywhere. You sort of just grow around your grief, and I can see you
Around
doing that.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like I can see you literally doing that. And also, I just need you to, but which it sounds like you're doing anyway, is just being okay with the days where you are stagnant, where it's like, no,
Mhm.
can't do it, don't want to do it.
Yeah.
It's fine. Yeah, but I can hear you're doing all of that already, so I'm not going to start waffling on. But yeah, I'm really proud of you.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. I'm trying, girl. I'm trying.
I know. But honestly, thank you. Everyone. I hope you enjoyed. Big shout out, thank you to my girl. I'm gonna try the clap again. Hopefully, it just works this time. Okay, guys. Well, thank you. I'm going to say bye bye.